Hey, welcome back to my channel, guys and gals. There was a big announcement today, and I'll get to that at the end and tell you how it's going to impact you and how we're going to get through it. But just so you know, before I get started on this, I think I have some expertise on what's going on because I'm an insurance broker. Been doing that for close to 20 years. I'm a realtor. Been doing that for about 10 years. And a lot of people are asking, why is my price so high? Or why are house values so high, right? There was a couple things. The insurance values went up. Turn on the TV. There's California's on fire. North Carolina, there's floods in the mountains. In Texas, there's hailstorms that aren't even talked about, but they're there. In Tornado Alley, well, there's tornadoes, a ton of them. So the weather hasn't been on our side for the insurance industry. That's one issue. But the other issue is the lawsuits have increased dramatically. Lawsuits from new lawyers. Everybody's becoming a lawyer now. And it seems like lawyers now have trained Americans to now know how to sue, which is great. Sue for your rights, right? I get it completely. But that's a factor. The supply chain issue, the tariff war that we're having, that's causing an issue with the parts, with the materials. So that's causing an issue in the cost of the claim. The claim is a lot more. New claims are occurring. Cybersecurity claims. Cyber attacks are happening on this country. What does that mean? Cyber attacks on yourself, personally. You are being attacked. And you have insurance for that. You may not even know of, but some people do, and they start to file claims, and we have cybersecurity claims. We have new claims now. So the supply chain issue, inflation, tariffs, lawsuits, bad weather, that's why your insurance rate for auto and home is high, period. Because they're looking at the past events to figure out and predict the future premiums. Not all carriers are super expensive. That's why I'm a broker. I could switch people from one carrier to another because that carrier had better losses than the other carrier. That's why they're cheaper. So you understand. For the housing market, okay, there was a boom in 2021, 2022, everybody was buying houses sight unseen, right? And the reason why, the interest rates were super low, 3%, 2%, that's amazing. But what was happening was artificial inflation was occurring with these adventure capitalists or investment firms that have already destroyed, establishments like Toys R Us, or they try to get Red Lobster, but we have that great CEO that's kept it alive. And I love that because I love Red Lobster. But look it up. So they started creeping into neighborhoods and started buying properties with a low interest rate because it made sense. Money made sense. It was a low interest rate. And you know what? We could flip it later. And that's what they did. They would buy it and then flip it to themselves, to another company that they owned, that all these rich people are a part of. And they just kept on selling it to each other, inflating the value of these properties. In some cases, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100% value. Look at Austin. Austin right now, their values are crashing because they were artificially inflated. Also, too, there's a lot of people coming into Austin. That's another factor, side note. However, the announcement of Trump, President Trump saying that he's going to stop these investment firms from buying single-family homes. I hope that happens because that was the reason why these house values were extremely high, giving most Americans, if you look at the chart, there's so many people out there that are talking about it. The point of entry for a house used to be in your 20s. Now, 40-year-olds, that's not right. That's not right. You don't wait till you're 40 to have kids. You have children in your 20s and you buy a house and property and, make it a home. But when you have investment firms that your neighbors buying these properties, increasing the value, you can't get into that house because now it's out of reach. And you got to be a more established person, like a 40-year-old, hopefully, that has some money that could buy a 200 square foot home for $500,000, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, if you look between San Antonio and Austin, there's these properties that shouldn't be valued at $1 million, period. If you look at Georgia, if you look at North Carolina, South Carolina, if you look at just any area. So this announcement by President Trump will affect the future housing market if it actually happens. So if he stops these investment firms from buying single family homes, there's going to be less buyers. So the values are going to go down. That artificial value will decrease. And people that had equity in their property are no longer going to have equity in their property. And if they're over leveraged now, well, they're going to be in trouble. So 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds that are listening right now, save up your money. Don't lose hope. Don't worry. You'll be able to buy a property. And for you 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds that are leveraging your asset because it's depreciated in value, don't do that. It's time to cut back because you got to prepare to buy because housing values are going to go down. All right.